Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Tamiya Robles. I'm a credit expert. I am also the host of my podcast, Coast to Coast Credit. I'm the owner of my company, Fix My Credit Now, 850.com. And I am NARED's High Desert Chapter President out here in Victorville, California. What's good, you guys? So, listen, I wanted to do a live with y'all because you guys know I had issues with my software and I was missing a lot of comments and messages, texts, all this is mad crazy. But a lot of you guys were responding to my past episodes where I was talking about class action lawsuits and the settlements and the payouts. And there's still a lot going on right now. And some of y'all didn't even know that you could have qualified for it. So because there's always a lot of class action lawsuits happening, I'm thinking I might just go ahead and do this maybe once a month where I'm letting you guys know, okay, this is what's going on, you guys. This is what's happening. These are the most recent class action lawsuits going on right now. And this is the deadline, just so you guys have enough information and can maybe apply for yourself. So let's get right into it. Now, there are a list of them. I'm going to go over them real quick, just so you know what we're going to be talking about. And then I'm going to go over the article. So we have our trusty T-Mobile, okay? First and first, mostly is T-Mobile. T-Mobile had a huge data breach, up to $350 million. Capital One has two different class action suits for two different reasons. We'll get into that in a second. There's a company, if you're familiar, Sutter Health Antitrust. Apple has had a payout recently, but we'll get into that. I'll tell you a bit of the details with that one. Open Door also has one. There's some open ones right now that you might be able to qualify for. Again, T-Mobile has yet another one. T-Mobile is crazy. I'm assuming they have like amazing insurance because they keep getting sued. Capital One has yet another one. They're always in class action lawsuits. I don't think they really care. USAA, I did one recently on that. If you want to check a previous my previous episode, you can, but we could talk about it briefly. And for the most part, that is it, just the major ones. So let me get into it right now. So the first one, let me show y'all proof. I want to show y'all proof before I don't want you to think I'm making any of this up. I always like to show proof. So let me share my screen. Give me a second. Going hop right to it. Okay, so with this one, this is T-Mobile. So this is as of June 5th, 2025. Right now is June 17th, 2025. T-Mobile users can get payments from $25 up to $25,000 from the $350 million data breach settlement. Your true amount depends on the state. So definitely check out your state, see what's going on. Some class action lawsuits are by individuals and some are actually by government and state. So go ahead and see what's going on if you qualify. This is not unfamiliar. I've also done a video on this one before from a couple years ago. I had a client of mine tell me about the data breach and she wanted me to do some paperwork for her so she could qualify. And I did, and she did qualify. So basically with that data breach or that T-Mobile lawsuit, what happened was due to the data breach that was going on, if you were negatively impacted, if it affected your credit in any kind of way, you just needed to prove that you spent X amount of time, X amount of money trying to fix your credit, trying to resolve the issue. And you could really get up to 25,000, but in order to get up to that price, you really had to prove that there was so much damage to your personal life. I didn't follow up with her and ask how much she got, but I do know she didn't get $25. Okay. But as you can see in the article, it says the payments are of $350 million settlement after hackers accessed private information of around 76 million users in a 2021 cyber attack. This is always happening with them, but I'm still a customer, I'm not gonna lie. Victims across the US had names, addresses, dates of birth, and social security numbers exposed. I remember this. The breach, which occurred in August of 2021, triggered a class action lawsuit where affected customers accused the mobile giant of failing to protect sensitive data with adequate cybersecurity measures. They still don't do anything, in my opinion, because this keeps happening. It's making me think this is intentional. It is at this point. While T-Mobile admitted no wrongdoing, because why would they? It agreed to the multi-million-dollar settlement to avoid further legal costs. Customers eligible for the settlement were notified some time ago and had to file claims by January 2023 deadline. Okay, I'm not going to read all this, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. If you want to check the link out, it is the sun. It is the sun. Okay. Now, I don't work for T-Mobile, but it's just sus. And why this is sus to me is because they keep doing this. Like this keeps happening. This isn't new. This isn't unusual. They keep having these weird data breach, and it's not just T-Mobile. It's the other platforms as well. It's the other carriers, T-Mobile and AT&T, which I didn't even know was still in effect, right? There was another one too. I can't think of it. Verizon and even cable companies. You guys got too much money to be messing up to this degree, but whatever. I digress. So there was T-Mobile and what else? There's a couple of them we're going to go through. So it's that one was pretty big. Another one is Capital One. So Capital One, again, constantly in the news. And in this case, they have two separate lawsuits. So before I share the article, let me give you some brief information on the first lawsuit and then the second. So Capital One 360 Savings is called Bait and Switch. This was for $425 million. And at the moment, it's pending its final approval. So it's for customers who overlooked when newer higher yield 360 performance savings offered. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, let me reread this. For customers overlooked when newer higher yield 360 performance savings offered while original stayed at lower rates. The settlement is for $425 million to compensate eligible 360 savings account holders from September 19, 2019 to its approval. And again, it's pending right now. So the hearing is expected in late this year, and the payouts aren't expected until next year. Okay, 2026. So that's the first one. I'm going to show you the article so you can say, let me see it for myself. Okay, I got you. The next one is the Capital One 2019 data breach. So on top of that same year, there was a data breach, and the settlement is for those that were affected, which were 98 million customers, by the way, for unsecured personal data, which included their social security numbers. Settlement was for 190 million. Cash reimbursements were up to 25,000 for documented losses, plus 3 years of identity protection. The claims closed out September 30th for 2022. The services run through February 2028. Now let's look at this lawsuit here. Okay, for the Capital One, the first one. So let me share my screen so I can see it. See the article, I mean. All right, so this is what it is. This is the article. Now, if you want to, again, look for yourself, this article is, again, I can put the links in the description. This is Kiplinger.com. So the $425 million Capital One 360 savings settlement, who's eligible for the payout, what happened? I'm not reading all this. Okay, you can read it for yourself. But I just wanted to show proof that this is going on. Capital One agreed to pay pay a total of $425 million to customers who filed class action lawsuits against the bank in 2024. So you guys really have to keep an ear out for these potential class action lawsuits so you're not missing them. And you can be part of multiple class action lawsuits if you're affected by it. We're going to get into solutions after this. I just want to show y'all some of the proof here, right? And it says filed in U.S. federal court in Virginia last Friday. The settlement is still waiting for the judge's approval. That is pending. Okay. What are the accusations in the Capital One lawsuit? When Capital One first launched its 360 savings in February 2019, it was advertised as high interest savings. But by September of that year, the bank had removed all references to the account, stopped offering it to new customers, and replaced it with information about the new 360 performance savings account. I don't know how people caught on to that. I don't know. Good for them, and I hope everybody gets a good hefty payout. When the pandemic hit in 2020, triggering even lower interest rates, Capital One dropped rates on the older accounts to just 0.3%, while the 360 performance savings earned 0.4%. Bless your hearts if y'all caught this. That's wild crazy. Now it's going to talk about the CFPB, which, as we know, because we talked about this on many occasions, it's not dead. It was in a medical coma. Now it's active, but it doesn't have the same influence as it did before. But it says the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, announced January that it was also suing Capital One over the same issue. The same issue. The agency accused the bank of actively obscuring the newer high earning 360 performance savings from the existing 360 savings account holder. Okay, something happened. The CFPB lawsuit alleged that Capital One did this by one giving new accounts to account in an almost identical name, along with the same terms and conditions, replacing all references in the original 360. Listen, I'm not reading all this. You got to read it. Check out the article, okay? Forbidding employees from proactively telling 360 saving account holders that the new 360 performance saving product, about the new product, excluding existing 360 savings account holders from an advertising campaign, blah, blah, blah. Read it. Okay. Now, it's a good article. It's a long article, but you got to educate yourself, people. One stays in a class action lawsuit. So if you have Capital One, I know certain states, like the state I live in right now, they don't have Capital One anywhere, which is great. It's good for kudos, because who needs it for real? But I know it's still in a lot of states. They need to buy them. Actually, they are. Were they bought out? Was Capital One? Capital One? No, Capital One acquired Discover. Okay, never mind. But yeah, if it's like, for example, I know I have a Capital One 360, and I had one for my daughter. I had a savings account for her when she was a minor, and now she's officially an adult. I haven't paid attention to this too, and I'm sure I more than likely would have qualified. So you just got to be on top of it and look for it. Okay. Now the second one, this is for their data breach. So again, this has affected 98 million customers, including unsecured personal data that exposed people's social security numbers. So let us get into this article right here. Now, let me share my screen. This is wild crazy. We need to stop leaving money on the table. Especially, this is not us begging. This is not you begging. This isn't like you aren't owed this. Your personal information has been violated. Join the class action lawsuits. Get the money. Okay. So Capital One data breach of 190 million class action settlement. This is under topclassactions.com. And you can punch it in and find out, put in the name and find out the page that I'm on right here. I like how they break everything down. Let's give you the updates. So again, without reading this entire article, some of the highlights: top class action readers reported the settlement paying out $34.22 in a second round of payments as of September 4th, 2024. Congratulations to those who got paid. Top class action readers reported the settlement paying out up to $2,120 $20.35 as of October 31st, 2023. Okay, a final was approved. Final approved was granted September 13th, 2022. The claim deadline has been expired. Capital One will pay 190 million as part of a customer data security litigation settlement to resolve claims it jeopardized customer information in a 2019 data breach. A lot was happening in 2019, as you can see, y'all. This ain't cool. But go ahead and check out that article, read it, and let's move on. Now, with that one, okay, that one was settled. Now, I'm not particularly familiar with this next company, this hospital. Maybe you're familiar with it, but this is Sutter Health Antitrust. They had a settlement for $228 million. I don't have a video or article on it. Actually, I might have an article on it. Let me take a look. No, I don't have an article on it, but you can go to what is it called? Hold on. Top Action. Hold on, let me make sure I tell you the right one. I think it's Top Class Actions. If you go to topclassactions.com, you can look up these lawsuits that I'm talking about and get more information. Okay, you can get the articles and on them. But with this one, the Sutter Health Antitrust, this is for hospital systems anti-competitive contracts that increased insurance costs. So that's pretty important. The settlement was for 228 million and 3 million issuers and groups were negatively affected. So if you were impacted, you may or may not have been part of that class action suit, but if you want to look into it, definitely do that. Apple. That's why you guys got to transfer over to Samsung. I don't know what your problem is, but Apple had a $95 million lawsuit where alleged Siri voice recordings were captured without the user's consent. I'm telling you, don't trust Siri. Don't trust her, because this is what happened. Now she caused the $95 million lawsuit, right? So the settlement was done. It ended, the settlement is for 95 million per device payouts. The claim deadline is July 2nd, 2025. So you guys have less than a month to go ahead and apply. So go ahead, please apply if you feel that Siri has been recording you without your permission. I don't know how you're going to prove that. Ask Siri. No, I'm joking. Open Door AI pricing securities. That's a $39 million. Now that lawsuit is not that high, but Open Door was affecting people as far as providing misleading investors regarding predatory AI pricing tools. So that's wild crazy. Now, I do want to get into some open cases. So the T-Mobile price lock voided. So this is a wireless plan. This is for alleged misleading price hikes on the price lock or in uncontract plans, which sounds like it's one of those, I don't know, what is it, pay-as-you-go type plans after promising a non-rate increase period. So they violated that. Eligibility are customers who were affected by these plans. So it says Magenta, One, Amplified, etc. I'm not familiar personally with these companies, but you may be. And some of these are geographically, it depends on your geographical area. So if you are aware of these companies, it's probably in your area. I don't know who they are. I haven't been a long-term customer, but never heard of this. But those have experienced these hikes since May of 2024. So this is an open lawsuit. You can join, sign up to, it is a mass arbitration. Just go to classaction.org. The deadline has not been specified yet. So let me just pull this article up for y'all real quick and share my screen. Give me a second. All right, boom. Okay, so this is the article here. Go to classaction.org and you'll see it. And once again, it's T-Mobile. It breaks it down. This is a pretty good read, and I appreciate that. So it's like it it makes it so you can easily understand what you're looking at. So that's a pretty cool thing. All right, so let me see. Let me go back to the top. So it says here again, I'm not reading all this, but it says this affects T-Mobile customers whose wireless plan rates increased despite being basically told that they weren't. What's going on? Attorneys are working with classaction.org believe that T-Mobile may have violated customers protection laws. Okay. Which plans are included? T-Mobile One, Simple Choice, Magenta, blah, blah, blah. Check it out. What you can do if you have a T-Mobile plan that included a price lock or an uncontract guarantee and you had your rates increased, you can be a part of this. Okay. Does it cost anything to sign up? No, it doesn't. The attorneys will only get paid if you win as usual. So all right, definitely check that out. But T-Mobile is always in the news. There's always some sort of class action suit. So even if you missed this boat, I'm sure give it time. There's going to be another data breach, another violation of your rights in somehow, some way. Now, Capital One, the 360 savings. So I know we just talked about that, but there is also an open lawsuit with that as well. It's the same type of thing, same bait and switch. They say one thing, and then another thing has happened that violates the agreement or the contract. There is no deadline for this. Okay. There's no deadline. They're waiting for the approval now. So try to get into this as well. Now, I did talk about this next one. The USAA data breach is for $3.25 million. Um, Okay, I actually need to skip that one. That one. Okay. Let me share my screen with you for this news article. I did do a video on this one. So if you want, oh, actually, I don't see it. Okay. So I don't see the link for this, but I will tag at the end of the video, I will tag my USAA data breach episode where I told you all the things. Okay. This was pretty bad, but it's not as big of a payout. But this was for a breach exposing personal data back in 2021. Those that were impacted during the breach during this time are the only ones that are eligible for this payout. The claim is for cash. It's cash plus identity monitoring. And the deadline, actually, I'm sorry, it already passed. It passed in April 2025. I think my episode was already posted for y'all by then. Yeah. But I'll keep an eye out if there's another data breach. Naturally, like I said, I think I'll do this like once a month for y'all. Everything breaks. TCPA rollbacks, never heard of them. But if you have, this is not a major class action lawsuit. It's only for 995,000, but TCPA violations, 2 or more unsolicited robocalls despite national do not call registry listings. We could talk about that. Eligibility persons that were affected that were on the list and they got the call anyway. So yeah. So yeah, these are just a few. Now I wanted to show a video or two just so y'all can understand. I'm not making this up. It is not me. So hold on. Let me see if I can share this with y'all. Hold on. Okay. Oh, hold up, hold up. I'm trying. I have the reason I'm doing it like this, like I have it on one screen and I don't need to share that screen. All right, let me see. Let me get my YouTube join and type in the title. Don't worry, I got y'all. And this is just a short video. It's not long, but again, I just love to show proof that I'm not making stuff up. I like to show proof that this is what's going on in these streets. This is coming from the news. This is not just me. And this is a short, so it's only a few seconds. Let me blow this up for y'all. and then I can share it. Hold on. All right, sharing is caring, and I'm doing that right now. Okie dokie. All right, let's play it. Let's hear what this lady got to say.
$50 million settlement after T-Mobile unintentionally exposed private information like the social security numbers of tens of millions of customers. Some of those customers spent a lot of money cleaning up this mess after their identities were stolen, and now they're getting reimbursed. But even if your identity wasn't stolen, there could be some cash for you.
Now, people who actually had their identity stolen, because this was first found out, this data breach, when the data on 76 million people was being sold on the dark web, and T-Mobile had to say, oh yeah, I guess we had a data breach. In that instance, people who had to pay money to clear their name and their credit are getting much more. Anyone else is only getting a pittance, and it depends on the state. In California, you're getting $100. In Rhode Island, you're getting $25. However, with the 350 million that was the class action, after these initial payments are made, if there's money left, everyone who was a victim of the scam will get an additional amount spread out equally among the victims.
Steve also warns if you receive an email or a text asking for additional information in relation to this settlement, it's likely a scammer trying to capitalize on the. This is a $350 million settlement.
I'm so sorry. This thing keeps freezing, but hopefully you got the gist of it. So again, it just depends on where your geographical area is as far as how much money you are going to receive. We got to stay on top of this. Again, I do have some solutions. We're going to go over that in a minute. I do want to share this one final video, and this is with regards to the T-Mobile settlement. So let me share my screen for this one, and then we're going to start talking about solutions. Okay, after this commercial break. Hold on, let me play it right now.
After talking about these processes.
Okay, so now we know. Okay. So yeah, that's what's going on in these streets so far. We gotta stay on top of these class action lawsuits. It's super important. If you guys, okay, I'm sorry, I was looking at a message. If you guys think you should be part of it, just go ahead and hop to it, get on there. Now, if you want to check on your own about these the class action lawsuits, like what's active, what's going on right now, what's open, what did I miss, so on and so forth, then there's a website that you can get on. I just said it, and now let me pull it up for you. What is it called? Open class. No, top. What is it? What did I say? What top class? Top class action. So let me get to that screen for you guys, and then this is what it looks like, and then I'll show you how to navigate through the website really briefly. It's common sense. You guys can figure it out yourselves. You guys are smart cookies. But I wanted to again give you the visual. This is called Top Class Actions. So topclassactions.com. And this is what it looks like. And they have social media platforms on Facebook, X, Facebook and X. It doesn't look like they're on Instagram. So you can click here, lawsuits and settlements, open class action lawsuits, lawsuits to join. You can do that. There's news, updates, data breaches. So stay on top of this, please, 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 please. They have class action lawsuits for everything that you can imagine. Remember the baby powder one? I remember that, where you diagnosed with cancer with the baby powder situation. Uber and Lyft. I remember this one. Driver sexual assault lawsuit claims. Yes, yes, these are things. Breast implants causing cancer. They don't want to openly talk about these things, right? Chemicals and hair straightening. I'm very familiar with a lot of these, but are you guys? I mean, check this out so you can learn and you can join some of these lawsuits if you want to. Maybe you're fine with just not participating, and I get it. I understand both sides to the coin. Now, again, I like to talk about solutions. What are the solutions? Well, you can't always get protected all the time, but you can try your best not to get affected. One of the things that I offer is free credit monitoring, where I'm basically watching every month, no charge. I'm monitoring your credit report, and I'm watching your credit report to make sure that there's no changes to what you have. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't need credit repair. I have a good credit score," but as you can see, there's a lot of data breaches happening, and it's not even about how you're paying anymore. It's about people stealing your identity, using your social security number, using your information, and then messing you up. So you want some sort of protection as far as that's concerned. As you know, I am partnered with Smart Credit. I will share this with you, but I'm partnered with Smart Credit. I've been with them since, for the most part, since I've become a credit expert, which was 6 years ago. And I think briefly I was with Identity IQ, and then I realized like their credit reports are just very complicated to look at, but whatever. So now Smart Credit, if you have Smart Credit and you're a client of mine, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's pretty much an easy read. But I am partnered with them and I use their resources. I encourage identity protection. So through this company, you will get this. All you need to do if you want my free credit monitoring, just again, you don't have to sign up with me, but you do have to get Smart Credit through my link is in the description. You get protection, as it says here, get privacy and fraud tools to protect your credit score. You could track your spending habits. You could protect your household, so on and so forth. You could just click this button and get started. And these are all the positive testimonials and plans and things like that. But what you also get is you get $1 million fraud protection, and that is covered when you sign up. So free credit monitoring with fixmycreditnow850.com, and then you have a protection and fraud insurance as well. So I'm gonna stop sharing that. Another thing you can do, one of the things that we mentioned, or I mentioned earlier about there's a class action lawsuit where people are on the do not call list and then they're basically being called anyway. You can still get on that list. I have not heard of a lot of like breaches or anything, so I'm a little surprised about that. But you can still go to the CFPB, you can still file complaints, you can still be on the do not call, do not disturb list. Okay, so that's a thing as well. You can still file a CFPB complaint. You can again go on their website, and I will show you right now what it looks like. I actually do this for my clients often when I am disputing, because I dispute multiple ways, That's why when I would see other people say, "Oh yeah, the CFPB is dead," it's not dead. It's just now officially slow paced. You know what I'm saying? It needed to be resurrected since Trump got into office and Elon decided to try to kill the CFPB, but it's still here. And again, unfortunately, especially with the uh, what was it? The CEO stepping down recently. What was it, last week? It's really messy. It was really messy, and I get it. And it's still messy, but I'm gonna tell you now, it's just not as impactful as it was, but they still have a job to do. And the Trump administration did they let a lot of their employees go. You guys know the story. But this is the website. So you can get on here, you can file a complaint. They do still respond to complaints. I'm getting responses for my clients. It says before you do a complaint, you can actually click here and they'll tell you what products and services you can complain about. And it gives you a list here. So the CFPB, it's short for Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Okay. So keep that in mind. So a lot of complaints go through here if it has anything to do with financial issues, checking savings, debt collection. I'm not reading all of this. Payday loans. That's huge. That's huge. Are y'all still getting payday loans? Are they still in business? Because I thought they were sued like a mug and no one was using them. But hopefully you guys aren't using them. I know times are tight. That's why I'm trying to help you guys find ways of getting money out in these streets. I'm trying. It guides you on what to do. What steps can I take before submitting a complaint? Have you tried reaching out to the company? So on and so forth. But yeah, definitely check this out. The CFPB is super, super helpful. Another company or entity, I'm sorry, it is government, and you know how I feel about the government, but just how because I have a personal feeling against the government and certain entities doesn't mean that I should not share the information with you guys. But you have the FTC, and that was another issue I was having when I was hearing other credit experts talk about, oh, the CFPB is dead and what are we going to do, whatever. Even if it did die, you can still go to other resources like the FTC. So the FTC is short for the Federal Trade Commission, protecting America's consumers, because it did feel, in my opinion, as a credit expert, it did feel like we did not have the protection that we needed when they tried to shut down the CFPB. But as I stated in my podcast, think of the CFPB as calling the police on some of these companies, but the FTC is calling the FBI, okay, on these companies. So yeah, if you are interested, just check it out. Report fraud. You can get a free credit report identity theft. This is super, super, super resourceful. People, stop waiting until it's too late. I keep telling y'all that. You guys come to me tripping, flipping out like, yeah, I needed services yesterday. Why do I gotta pay it? Because you waited and you didn't do anything to prevent the situation or attempt to. So it is what it is. There's no judgment here. I definitely got you. So hopefully this helped y'all. I tried to be short as possible, but it's a wealth of information. Guys need to get on it as soon as possible. If you have any questions, concerns, let me know. Leave a comment. Let's interact. If you have any testimonies, if you're part of any of these lawsuits, if you already got your payout. I'm mostly curious about those that were affected by the T-Mobile, because T-Mobile, I used to think was like an amazing company. Maybe this is just how businesses are running. I don't know it. But T-Mobile, I thought was just a reputable company, but every few months they're in a lawsuit. Like I don't understand. So if you got a payout or something, let me know. Let us know. You don't have to. You can use a fake name. We're not going to track you down for your little $25, but but let us know. But in the meantime, you guys, be sure to continue to like, comment, share, subscribe, download. Coast to Coast Credit is my podcast. You can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on all major streaming platforms except Apple, as usual. Schedule your free 30-minute consultation with me, people. Again, the link is down in the description. If you need help structuring a plan, get at me. If you already have a plan, you just need me to execute it and you need my services, I definitely have you. I know a lot of y'all are trying to get into homes. This is usually the time where you guys are quickly scrambling before your kids start school. Be sure to go, if you have Facebook, go under Credit and First Time Home Buyers Plug. I have over 1,800 members. I have a live Google map that I've shared with y'all where I have realtors and lenders from across the nation. We got you. They got you. But in the meantime, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I wish you guys the best of luck on your credit journey. I will talk to you.